Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Tonight, a new leader at the helm in New York as Governor Kathy Hochul is officially sworn in. Governor Hochul outlining her immediate priorities, which include addressing the COVID crisis, schools reopening, and what she calls changing the culture in Albany. She spoke with reporters today, including our own Big Fox News' Matt Kleindienst.
Good evening, Ann. During her press conference this afternoon, Governor Hochul laid out her policy priorities and promised to work with local and state leaders to get them accomplished. She also promised more integrity and transparency from the governor's office. It's a historic day in New York as Kathy Hochul was sworn in to be the state's first female governor, and she's promising steady leadership.
I have the confidence, the courage, and the ability to lead New Yorkers forward and make New York's women proud.
This afternoon, Governor Hochul set out her priorities over the coming months. Among her top priorities was getting kids back to school and ensuring their protection from COVID-19.
We need to require vaccinations for all school personnel with an option to test out weekly, at least for now. I'm also immediately directing the Department of Health to institute universal masking for anyone entering our schools.
Governor Hochul also wants renewed focus on getting COVID relief money out to residents who qualify for assistance.
I want the money out now. I want it out with no more excuses and delays.
Finally, Governor Hochul promised a renewed focus on ethics and transparency in the executive branch, including requiring ethics in workplace harassment training and responding to more information requests.
To me, it's very simple. We'll focus on open, ethical governing that New Yorkers will trust.
Hochul says she will work closely with local leaders to enact her policy goals. Matt Kleindienst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
Pfizer gets a thumbs up, full FDA approval, plus a new name for its vaccine, Comirnaty. Experts say it's a step in the right direction to fight against this virus, but the work on vaccines continues, which brings up some new questions. Britt Conway breaks down a few of your FAQs.
The moment you've been waiting for is here.
The FDA has spoken. The vaccine is safe and effective.
It's within our power to get this under control.
Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine now has the FDA's official stamp of approval for people 16 years and older.
We have more data about efficacy and safety than almost any other vaccine in the history of vaccination.
What could the approval mean for vaccine mandates?
They're going to give a lot of incentive and backing for a lot of institutions and organizations and places of employment to mandate.
We certainly expect there will be more mandates for factions of federal employees.
What about a vaccine specifically for the Delta variant? Pfizer says it's got one in the works just in case.
Booster shot of the current vaccine is very, very, very effective against Delta. But we cannot take that chance.
What's the latest on vaccines for kids 11 and younger?
We just have to wait for the data to be complete.
That includes data on safety and effectiveness.
The companies will be able to present the data to the CDC by the mid-fall or so.
Then the FDA will either make the vaccine available under EUA or wait a little longer for full approval.
And you're all done.
Every shot a step in the right direction.
I hope we could start to get some good control in the spring of 2022.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Vaccines are helping Americans get back into school and back into the office. And medical experts say as you begin to do the things you did pre-pandemic, make sure you do them in a way that contributes into a healthy lifestyle. Jackie Ibanez reports.
A growing number of kids are going back to school for in-person classes this fall, and medical experts are sharing their tips about how to keep them healthy while they're away from home.
Living a healthy lifestyle actually does require some effort.
For starters, focus on their foods. Pediatricians say keep lunches simple and packed with protein. It'll help supply your kids with the energy they need to pay attention and maintain a healthy immune system.
Make sure you're getting all the different food groups in a lunch, so packing fruits, vegetables, protein, grains, and dairy. A lot of times we're just packing like a sandwich and chips.
And if you have a picky eater on your hands, the school cafeteria may not be the place to experiment with unfamiliar meals.
You don't want to put things in their lunch that they really don't like because they're definitely not going to eat them. So maybe those foods that are harder, have at home at dinner.
Meanwhile, maintaining a healthy lifestyle is also important for all the adults getting ready to return to the office. Make sure that when you get back to your desk, you don't become chained to it. Experts recommend going on a quick walk during your lunch break or standing for at least 10 minutes.
When we're sitting long hours and being sedentary, it can increase fatigue. And so getting the physical activity will increase energy, but it also boosts your mood.
And if you're looking to get back in shape, you're not alone. According to a survey from the American Psychological Association, 61% of adults reported gaining unwanted weight during the pandemic. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
President Biden met with leaders of the G7 on Afghanistan today. America's allies are pressuring the president to move his withdrawal deadline as evacuations remain chaotic and dangerous. This as a spokesperson for the Taliban insists the U.S. be gone by August 31st. Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with that story.
In a virtual meeting, leaders of the G7 urged President Biden to be flexible on his August 31st date, now just 1 week away, to have all U.S. troops out of Afghanistan.
We believe we're making progress. We're going to keep making progress.
The French foreign minister and the British defense secretary both want the U.S. to extend their deadline. Plus, there are concerns America won't have enough time to get all of our allies and citizens to safety. The U.S. does not know exactly how many remain.
I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not. We are committed to bringing Americans who want to come home.
But the Taliban has been insistent the end of the month deadline remains in place, saying it would be a red line to extend.
I believe this is a deadline that was set by the president. And so now it's one being set by the Taliban.
On Monday, the leader of the CIA met secretly with the de facto leader of the Taliban, the highest profile meeting since the group toppled the Afghan government.
As I look at the situation, I think that it is increasingly unlikely that we're going to get everything we need done by the end of this month. And that means we're going to need a little bit more time to do what is morally absolutely essential.
There's been no change to the timeline of the mission. We still believe, certainly now that we have been able to increase the capacity and the flow, we believe that we have that we have the capability, the ability to get that done by the end of the month.
From Monday to Tuesday, the U.S. and allies have evacuated 21,000 people from Afghanistan. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
President Biden met with leaders of the G7 on Afghanistan today. America's allies are pressuring the president to move his withdrawal deadline as evacuations remain chaotic and dangerous. This as a spokesperson for the Taliban insists the U.S. be gone by August 31st. Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with that story.
The whole time I held onto a tree for 6.5 hours, screaming that I had babies at the house that needed rescue.
Danielle Hall recounts the tragic moments before floodwater swept away her 7-month-old twins. She says the twins' father tried to hold on to them as water filled up their Tennessee home.
And water was gushing in. We tried to block the doors, and it wasn't working.
Saturday's record-breaking rain killing more than 20 people in central Tennessee. Officials expect the death toll to climb, with many people still missing. Rescue teams continue to comb through piles of debris and navigate washed-out roads in hopes of finding anyone swept away by the flood. In Humphreys County, many of those unaccounted for lived in neighborhoods where the water quickly rose.
We could see these people on their porches, and I think in my mind that they thought they were safe.
Many who survived the storm are now displaced, while others tried to salvage what's left of their homes. The Red Cross says more than 90 people stayed in shelters on Sunday. Anna Mays says she and her brother were packing up to evacuate when water from a flooded creek broke open the door and poured into the house. The rain catching many residents off guard.
I never in my life seen that much water. I seen it on TV, and I thought I was gone. I was screaming and hollering for help.
Emergency management officials here in Tennessee estimate hundreds of homes could be uninhabitable. In Waverly, Tennessee, Charles Watson, Fox News.
Musket fire will echo throughout Newtown Battlefield State Park this weekend. Hundreds of historians will gather outside of Elmira to recreate the Battle of Newtown. The battle is considered to be a major turning point in the American Revolution. Visitors can walk the park trails, watch daily battle reenactments, and see demonstrations of colonial life. The event kicks off on Friday. The village of Odessa held a meeting on whether to allow a marijuana dispensary to open in the area. In a Facebook post, the village encouraged residents to come to tonight's meeting and learn what the dispensary would mean for Odessa. The post went on to tell residents to be informed by facts rather than rumors. Officials held a Q&A session at the end of the meeting. Still ahead tonight, as COVID-19 cases continue to rise across the U.S., many health experts agree an increase in vaccinations will lead to more control over the virus.
If we can get through this winter and get really the majority, overwhelming majority of the 90 million people who have not been vaccinated, I hope we could start to get some good control in the spring of 2022.
However, it's likely to be around for the foreseeable future. Simple steps experts say we can take to learn to live with the virus.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Your Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. A little bit warmer conditions today. Temperatures running about 4 degrees warmer in Elmira today than yesterday. Same in Corning, about 7 degrees warmer in Bath. It's going to get even warmer as we head into tomorrow, and this comes as a storm system approaches. Notice behind this cold front, that's where most of the rain and also the cloud cover are, and this will continue to progress to the east. I think it'll stall out by tomorrow and then finally arrive by Thursday, and so our chances of rain will start to increase. Out ahead of the system, our dew points are in the mid-60s. Still not all that bad, but it will start to increase into the 70s tomorrow as that front draws a little bit closer. So here's a look at your planner. With plenty of sunshine in place and with the humidity, temperatures will feel like the mid to upper 90s by the early afternoon, even though our readings will be much lower than that. 76 degrees at 9 o'clock. 85 degrees near lunchtime, 89 by 1 o'clock, and it looks like we will climb into the 90s by the mid-afternoon hours. There is the possibility of an isolated thunderstorm or two in the afternoon, given how hot and humid it will be. It will continue to feel hot on a Thursday. The humidity will stick around as well. Highs will be near 90 degrees, and then by Friday, as that cold front arrives, and with the rain chances, our temperatures will be dropping along with our heat index, or what it feels like to our skin. So our future radar is showing not a lot going on for tonight or even tomorrow. There may be one stray shower or thunderstorm in the late afternoon into the evening hours. That will fizzle out, and then 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. Clouds will start to increase during the day, and then in the afternoon there will be a few showers and thunderstorms running across some of our hometowns. We have better chances of rain as we move into your Friday morning. So around 10 o'clock in the morning, it looks like scattered showers and a few thunderstorms from Hornell to Bath to Corning and into Elmira, and then more rain in the afternoon and evening, and this will result in a little bit cooler conditions. Here's a look at your forecast. Tonight we drop down to around 63 degrees in Elmira, 65 degrees in Corning, and also in Perkinsville. Your high tomorrow, 92 degrees in Elmira, 91 in Corning, 89 degrees in Perkinsville, and around 90 degrees in Hornell. It will be very humid. Again, our heat index will be in the mid to upper 90s. From there, we are expecting a cooling trend. Our high on Thursday, only around 90 degrees, and then we drop down to around 84 degrees with the better rain chances, especially in the afternoon. Our chances of rain will continue from the weekend into early next week, and that will keep those highs mainly in the low to mid 80s. And then another front comes through on Tuesday, and that will result in much cooler conditions with highs in the 70s.
As COVID-19 cases continue to rise across the U.S., many health experts agree there's no way to tell how long this latest surge will last. Mandy Gaither tonight has some simple steps experts say we can take to learn to live with this virus.
The virus that causes COVID-19 isn't going anywhere anytime soon. But with the recent full FDA approval of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine, vaccinations are on the rise.
If we can get through this winter and get really the majority, overwhelming majority of the 90 million people who have not been vaccinated, I hope we could start to get some good control in the spring of 2022.
Some U.S. health experts believe the virus will end up being seasonal, like a cold or flu, and we must learn to coexist with the coronavirus.
It changes, just like the weather does. There may be times you need to pull out an umbrella. There's times that you don't go inside certain places.
The first thing experts say we need to do, get as many people as possible vaccinated. And mask up. They say the Delta variant has been shown to exist in the nose and upper throat of those infected, vaccinated or not, in almost equal amounts. As school mask debates continue, some parts of the country are already struggling with quarantines and temporary closures as infections spread. In classrooms, experts say masks and good ventilation are important to keep schools safe. More rapid testing is needed, especially antigen tests. They say those results can be helpful for those who don't have symptoms but want to make sure they're not a silent spreader. And given that the Delta variant spreads more easily, experts say reassess and adjust risk of exposure. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Disney World has reached a deal with its union workers to require COVID-19 vaccines. Local 362 says more than 30,000 unionized cast members must show proof of vaccination by October 22nd. If they don't, they could lose their jobs. Employees with a medical or religious waiver have to apply for an accommodation. Disney already announced its salaried and non-union hourly employees in the U.S. have to be fully vaccinated by the end of September. The governors of Maryland and Virginia joined with the governor of Washington, D.C. on Monday to right a historic wrong. More than 50 gravestones from an African-American cemetery established in 1859 had been removed and dumped into the Potomac River. Brad Bell reports.
You can still see the remnants of grave markers dumped 60 years ago along this stretch of the Potomac in King George, Virginia. They were rediscovered when the property changed hands a few years ago. The new owner, Virginia State Senator Richard Stewart, was horrified to see many with clearly legible names. He began an effort through which he learned they'd come from the old Columbian Harmony Cemetery in D.C., the final resting place for many prominent African Americans dating back to the early 1800s. And in 1959, when the property along Rhode Island Avenue was sold for development during a time of financial hardship, most of the remains were moved to a new cemetery in Landover, but the headstones were treated as scrapped and dumped here to control erosion. Today, the governors of Virginia and Maryland and the mayor of the District of Columbia came together to begin the move of more than 50 stones to a proper memorial area. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam saying it's time to right a wrong.
And I think we can all agree that that's just wrong. Those were people, they had families who loved them, and to dump their headstones or sell them for some other use is dehumanizing. And that was part of the goal, perhaps.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is scheduled to address inflation this Thursday. The speech comes as inflation is triggering sticker shock at the grocery store. The latest numbers prove prices are going up for just about everything right now. Mandy Gaither takes a closer look at the numbers and what products are seeing inflation take the biggest toll.
The price hikes keep coming. Prices for everyday goods and services rose in July by 5.4% compared to a year ago, according to the Labor Department's Consumer Price Index.
We have pent-up demand and we have big disruptions in supply, and they put pressure on prices.
Here's a look at the sticker shock people are experiencing right now. Women's dresses up about 19% in price over the last 12 months. Used car and gas prices up about 42%. Rental cars are up more than 73%. Experts say the pent-up demand for travel kept inflation hot.
It is not the 70s and the 80s, but it is 3 to 4% inflation that will last for much longer than most people expect.
Americans are also paying more at grocery stores. Apples and milk up 6% over the past year. Fresh fish up more than 8%. Meat up nearly 11%. One food distributor says the price hikes are concerning.
I've been doing this for 35 years. As far as I'm concerned, I'm scared to the point of, are they going to stop buying the product?
It's still cheaper to head to the grocery store and enjoy a home-cooked meal. The price of food in restaurants or takeout saw a 4.6% increase compared to this time last year.
Well, we have to eat, so what can I say? A lot of times I have to compromise.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Walmart is beefing up its delivery platform with a new service. It's called Go Local, and it brings goods to your door from other retailers. So drivers making Walmart deliveries could also be delivering packages from other stores. These goods could be from local bakeries or national auto supply chains. Walmart launched its delivery service 3 years ago. The company says it now reaches nearly 70% of the U.S. population. Peloton's relatively cheaper treadmill is finally going on sale. The fitness company says the Peloton Tread will be released next week. The treadmill will cost about $2,500. Not exactly inexpensive, but it is cheaper than the Tread Plus, which used to retail at more than $4,200. Both machines were recalled back in May due to safety concerns following a child's death and 70 other injuries. The company is still working to fix the issue with the Peloton Tread Plus. If there was video of Popeye as a child, it may look like this. You're about to meet a 4-year-old in Alaska who loves his vegetables and is showing the world. Lauren Maxwell has the story.
A fish.
What kind is it?
It's a little tiny salmon.
These TikTok videos have been making people smile.
Some are good, some are bad.
And why not? It's hard to believe that little Jack Danger is only 4 years old.
I'm so big.
You are so big.
And already has such an appreciation for all things green.
You love kale, right?
From the garden.
What does kale have, Jack?
Calcium.
What does calcium do?
Like a monster.
Jack's parents have worked hard to pass the benefits of healthy eating on to their children.
Kind of like this book is about how to eat a rainbow.
Including this book on nutrition they bought for Jack when he was born. So this was like his bedtime story that he loved?
Absolutely. Every night. It's like still loves it. It's like, I want my veggie book.
Jack's dad says he couldn't help himself. One day he decided to post a video of his son eating a turnip.
Turnip.
Turnip? Is it tasty?
Yep, got some.
You got some dirt?
He couldn't believe how many people enjoyed watching it too.
2.6 million on that one now.
What is it?
It's kale.
Is kale good for you?
Yeah.
Since then, he's posted many more videos.
I got it!
All of them incredibly cute. He plans to keep posting as long as Jack enjoys the fruits of the garden.
I'm looking at the green tomato.
Yeah? Are you going to try it?
It's hard.
We'll give it to your sister. She'll eat it. She'll eat whatever.
And all of them are still having fun.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight, an inspiring story out of Italy. More than 7 decades in the making. During World War II, U.S. veteran Martin Adler almost shot 3 Italian siblings dead after nearly mistaking them for hiding German soldiers. On Monday, 77 years later, the group was reunited at Bologna Airport in northern Italy, fulfilling Adler's dream. Adler, now 97, lives in Miami. In December, his daughter told the story of the wartime encounter on a Facebook page as part of efforts to raise funds for her dad's trip to Italy. She explained that Adler was so relieved that he had not accidentally fired his weapon that he gathered the 3 children up in an embrace. He then took a picture of them, cherishing it over the decades until he was finally able to meet with them again this week. What an incredible story. From our whole team, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great night.